Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 1st chapter, text number 28. Anyasyamapi jayayam trayah putra asan uttamastamaso raivata iti manvantaradhipatayah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In his other wife, Maharaja Priyavrata begot 3 sons named Uttama, Tamasa and Raivata. All of them later took charge of Manvantara millenniums. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In every day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. The duration of one Manvantara, the lifespan of one Manu, is 71 yugas, and each yuga is 4,320,000 years. Almost all the Manus selected to rule the Manvantaras came from the family of Maharaj Priyavrata. 3 of them are particularly mentioned herein, namely Uttama, Tamasa and Raivata. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta part.
In today's verse, we are particularly seeing his 2 sets of activities. One, his ruling, and then how his disposition with his wife, and all of that. Evam upashama ayaneshu svathanayeshu atha. So Shukadeva Goswami is once again bringing back the subject of the sons of Priyavrata, Svathanayeshu, his own sons, who were upashama ayaneshu. Previously, if you remember, Shukadeva Goswami used the word upashama shilaha. So, these sons, that's why Prabhupada is mentioning in the translation, particularly referring to Kavi, Mahavira and Savana, who were upashama shilaha or upashama ayaneshu. Ayaneshu, they were on the path of upashama, on the path of self-control. So, they were well qualified. Upashama ayaneshu svathanayeshu. In this way, atha, thereafter, Jagatipatihi, the master of the universe, Jagatim, Arbudhani ekadasha parivatsaranam. He, parivatsaranam, years, comprising of so many years. How many? Ekadasha parivatsaranam. Arbudhani ekadasha parivatsaranam. Arbudhani, Prabhupada has indicated here, it shows 100 million years. So 11 times 100 million years. Parivatsaranam, that many number of years. Avyahata, without being interrupted. Avyahata, akhila purushakara sara sambhrutha. How did he rule? What was his personality? Very nicely, Priyavrata's personality is being described here. He ruled without any interruption for Arbudhani ekadasha parivatsaranam avyahata, without any interruption, akhila purushakara sara sambhrutha. Sambhrutha, he was endowed with. You see, that is called sambhrutha. Samyak brutha, he was full of, he was possessed of sambhrutha. What? Purushakara sara. Purushakara, prowess, and sara, energy or strength. Sambhrutha. So he was not a weak king, he was a very powerful king. You can see the personality of Priyavrata coming out from these descriptions. Akila Purushakara Sara Sambhrutha Dodandaha. And he had powerful arms, Yugala, two powerful arms, Dodhandaha. And Apiditha Maurvi Guna Sthanita. Sthanita, thundering sound. Thundering sound that is created by Apidita Maurvi Guna. When his bowstring, when he drew his bowstring, and Sthanita, it created a thunderous sound, by which he defeated Viramita. Simply, he didn't have to shoot any arrows. Simply by Apidita Maurvi Guna Sthanita, just by the sound of the bowstring, Viramita, he defeated. What did he defeat? Dharma Pratipaksha. Dharma Pratipakshaha. Anyone who was opposed to Dharma. Pratipaksha. Anyone who was opposed to Dharma Pratipakshaha. Viramita. He was able to defeat. So this is the first part of Maharaj Priyavrata's description, of how powerful he was. What was his influence? So, and in the next part, Barhishmatyaha cha, and Barhishmatya of his wife, Anudinam, daily, day after day, Edhamana, she was increasing. What was she increasing? Pramoda, his pleasure, pleasing intercourse. Prasarana, amiability. Yaushinya, feminine behavior. Yaushinya, vrida, shyness. Pramushita, hasa, held back, smile. Avaloka, glancing. Ruchira, pleasing. Kshveli, feminine, loving propensities. Kshveli, adibihi, and so on. In this way, this was Barhishmati's character. She was very pleasing, and every day she would increase edamana, his pleasure. And so, what was happening to Priyavrata when he had such a wonderful wife? She was so nicely disposed to him. So, prabudhyamana viveka, parabhuyamana viveka, anavabudhyamana, parabhuyamana viveka, parabhuyamana viveka. Viveka is discrimination. Parabhuyamana, he seemed to have lost parabhuyamana vivekaha. But Shukadev Goswami is saying, Iva parabhuyamana vivekaha, Iva, as if. He was not lost. His viveka was not lost. Parabhuyamana viveka iva. Anavabudhyamana iva. Anavabudhyamana, somebody who has lost his intelligence. Less intelligent person. Anavabudhyamana iva. Like. He was not lost. He was very sound. How he was able to do all this? Because he was Mahamana. He didn't have an ordinary mind. His was a very controlled mind. Mahamanaha bubhuje. In this way, he ruled. So, very nice. We get nice instructions here. After Kavi, Mahavira, Savana were completely trained in the Paramahamsa stage of life. Evam upashama ayaneshu swatanayeshu. Maharaj Priyavrata ruled the universe, bubhuje. Ruled the universe for 11 arbudhas of years. Arbudhani ekadasha parivatsaranam bubhuje. He ruled for 11 arbudhas of life. Whenever he was determined to fix his arrow upon his bowstring, so, apidita maurvi guna sthanita. whenever he was determined to fix his bow, his arrow upon his bowstring, with his two powerful arms, Dordhanda Yugala, his powerful arms, all opponents of regulative principles of religious life, Dharma Pratipakshaha, would flee from his presence. Viramitha, he defeated them, would flee from his presence in fear of the unparalleled prowess. Avyahata Akhila Purushakara Sara Sambhrutha, unparalleled prowess he displayed in ruling the universe. He greatly loved his wife Barhishmati, and with the increase of days, Anudinam, their exchange of nuptial love also increased. Edamana Pramoda. By her feminine behavior, Yaushinya, she dressed herself, walked, got up, smiled, laughed, and glanced about. Pramodha, Prasarana, Yaushinya, Vrida, Pramushita, Hasa, Avaloka, Ruchira, Kshveli Adibihi. Queen Barhishmati increased his energy. Edamana increased his energy. Thus, although he was a great soul, Mahamanaha, he appeared Iva. He appeared lost in feminine conduct of his wife. Parabhuyamana Viveka Iva. He behaved with her just like an ordinary man. Anavabuddhyamana Iva, like an ordinary man. But actually he was a great soul, Mahamanaha. So this is the wonderful character of Priyavrata Maharaj. And Prabhupada has touched upon very important things in the purport. So, Dharma Pratipakshaha, he was so powerful, right? Akhila Purushakara Sara Sambhrutha. Sambhrutha means he was endowed with. See, out near our ashram in the neighborhood, I see one coconut tree. That coconut tree has one full bunch of coconuts. I think it's about this big. And maybe 50 coconuts closely packed. And such 3 bunches are there on the tree. It really, when you see, that's an indication of Sambhrutha. Vriksha Palani Sambhrutha. It's full of. That's the sense of the word Sambhrutha. Full of, endowed with, laden with. So his personality was Akhila Purushakara, prowess, Sara, strength, energy, Sambhrutha. He was not a weak man. His personality was like that. Now you see why Brahma came to bring him, to make him rule. Brahma saw Priyavrata is very important. So, actually power is very important in this world. With power, we can influence. I remember watching one, actually I didn't watch, actually somebody explained this to me. About one politician in our country. It was just after the election. This politician did a lot of good things in his state. And then there was election, and then he got defeated. And then, soon after the defeat, actually there were pictures, I had seen that picture also. He was so crestfallen. He was so disappointed. Soon after that, somebody went and I think he gave a talk or something like that. He was invited to Bangalore and he gave a talk. And then somebody asked him, we saw how you worked very hard and then you did so many things for your state, but finally people didn't elect you. You got defeated. But we still see, once again, you're building up your party, you're building up your thing. Why do you want to do that? You are already so old, you must have been 65 or 70 or so. And still you're trying to build up. So this man, this former chief minister, he gave a good answer. Interesting answer. He said, actually I've thought over very carefully in my life of all different things that I can do to influence the world. I have seen the power that we can get in politics enables us to influence the world for a good. So I want to do good to my state. I want to do good to my country. And so I'm ready to struggle to come to power. See the politicians, they have seen. So power has the ability to influence people, communities, society, change the course of history. That's the meaning of power in this world. It is not that we should shun. Just see here, Priyavrata, so powerful, Akhila Purushakara Sara Sambhuta. What a personality he is. What a personality he comes across, isn't it, by reading Shukadeva Goswami's words? Dordhanda had such powerful arms. Dordhanda Yugala Apidita Maurvi Gunasthanita Viramita Dharma Vipaksha. And what did he use his power? Dharma Vipaksha Viramita. To oppose anyone who was opposing, to defeat anyone who was opposing, Dharma Pratipaksha. And Prabhupada has captured in the purport, what is this Dharma that is talked about here? It is the Varnashrama Dharma. Why is it so important that he was protecting the Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma? Because, Prabhupada has captured very nicely that point, to maintain proper social order and help the citizens gradually progress toward the goal of life. See, the social order, Varnashrama, these kings were protecting so much because it is a social order to maintain proper social order and help the citizens gradually progress. Even imperceptibly, without their knowledge, they'll be progressing in spiritual life. Gradually progress toward the goal of life. What is it? Goal of life, namely spiritual understanding. Prabhupada captures the essence of these things and points out why they were so keen on the Varnashrama. Because Varnashrama enabled everyone, not just the Brahmanas can progress spiritually. No. Spiritual understanding, spiritual progress is the right of everybody, every living entity. Prabhupada wrote some of the BTG articles pre-1965, those. He talks about this is the right because there is a lot of human rights understanding in this world. So it's the right of every human being. And this right cannot be taken away by anybody. And that right is properly protected and encouraged and enriched in the Varnashrama institution. And hence, they wanted to protect that. That was the dharma that Maharaja Priyavrata was protecting. And for that, power was needed. And he exhibited that power. he manifests that power. Such a nice personality, and he was a great devotee. Such a nice personality, the picture that Shukadeva Goswami is presenting to us. And Srila Prabhupada in his purports is presenting. So this is about his prowess, power, his disposition, and all of that. And now let's see the next half of the thing. About his wife, Barhishmati. And so nicely Prabhupada has clarified. See, these are all, without Prabhupada's purports, we will be lost. We cannot understand. It's so important, gives clarity, sets everything in line with the overall Siddhanta. And Shukadeva Goswami is saying all this, Barhishmati was like this, Edamana, Anudinam, Edamana, Pramoda, Yaushinya, all those things, her feminine qualities, and all these things. This was all he was experiencing, all this. What's happening to him? So Prabhupada is clarifying, this Kshatriya duty requires such stimulation. And look at the beauty of Varnashrama, it permits, because Varnashrama is according to the mind-body system, physical, psychological system of different people, and because of that such psychological mind-body situation, they can perform certain functions properly, and certain functions require that display of prowess and strength and all of that for protecting dharma. Dharma pratipaksha viramitha. It is required for defeating all the opponents of religion. So, this is required in the Varnashrama. So Varnashrama is so practical. It is not some kind of a sentimental arrangement of Brahmana, Kshatriya. It is not. It is very scientific. And people who possess such psychological disposition necessary for ruling the world, they need this kind of a feminine stimulation. And that will help them. And that's why Prabhupada is saying here, that's why kings had wives. Not just sometimes one, they had many wives. Because such feminine stimulation encouraged them to manifest their power and rule. And those things were essential. And Varnashrama permitted. And then Prabhupada is also clarifying, of course there are another class of people superior to the Kshatriyas, the sannyasis and the Brahmanas. They don't need such stimulation. For them, the spiritual knowledge sufficiently stimulates them. Their spiritual realization, that stimulates them to perform their role. And their role is to manifest spiritual potency, to teach the society and impress the people in the society that they must practice spiritual life. How important spiritual life is. So, although Barhishmati was all of this, she was playing the good role of a good wife. See, these are natural for a wife, for a woman. It comes naturally for them. Yaushinya, that is the meaning of a feminine characteristic. So, being a good woman, being a good wife, she manifested. She did her part. And Priyavrata was encouraged by that. And he manifested his power. For what? For Viramita Dharma Pratipakshaha. In order to protect Dharma, dharmic principles, which enabled spiritual understanding for everyone. And so, what was he? How did Priyavrata take all these things? So, Shukadeva Goswami is clarifying, Parabhuyamana Viveka Iva. If somebody is having such a very pleasing wife, And he can appear to be para, his viveka. He seemed to have, he can lose his viveka. He can lose his viveka. But para bhuyamana viveka iva. As if he had lost his viveka. Anava buddhyamana iva. Buddhyamana is intelligent. Anava buddhyamana, who was deranged, lost his intelligence. Anava buddhyamana iva. But he was not lost. He was mana, maha, manaha. He was a man of great mind, a controlled mind. So he was not lost. So this is the beautiful explanation that Srila Prabhupada is also giving in the purport of what was happening to Priyavrata, his wife, his family, and how he was ruling for a long time. Now, another important point is Krishna consciousness is so universal, is so fundamental, and it is so powerful. If one is maintaining that consciousness, one can be doing any kind of activity in this material world and still be Krishna conscious. That's another demonstration that we see in the life of Maharaja Priyavrata. Krishna explained some of... I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Krishna explained some of these principles in the Bhagavad Gita, right here. Krishna says, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha gnanagni dhakta karmanam tamahuhu panditam buddhaha. Here, what is to be, Prabhupada points out in a few lectures talking on this verse, 4th chapter. Yasya sarve samarambhaha. Sarve samarambhaha. Samarambhaha, here it refers to endeavors or attempts. Sarve samarambhaha, in all kinds of endeavors. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha gnanagni dhakta karmanam tamahuhu panditam buddhaha. He is considered to be a pandita, a learned man. By whom? By Buddhaha. If some fool calls him a pandita, it has no value, right? Another wise man calls him a pandita, that is important. So Krishna is saying, Tamahuhu panditam buddhaha. Buddhaha, learned people, enlightened people, they declare tam ahuhu panditam. They declare him to be a pandita, a learned man, who yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. One can be engaged in any activity. Sarve samarambhaha. But kama sankalpa varjitaha. He should be free from kama sankalpa. Sankalpa, determination, desire for kama, enjoying. How this person is able to do that one? Kama sankalpa varjitaha, in all kinds of activities, because jnana agni dhakta karmanam. Because of jnana agni, the fire of knowledge that's burning in his heart, by which he has burnt up the past reaction. So, he can be engaged in any kind of activity. Actually, Krishna has disclosed, Prabhupada explains this. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gradually builds up the different conclusions and concepts. Here, Krishna has only mentioned Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. Free from kama. But, all right, that free from that desire for enjoyment, one should be free from kama sankalpa. All right, in all those activities, What should be the right desire? This desire you must not have. Kama sankalpa varjitaha. What is the kama? What is the desire you can have? What should all those activities be meant for? That Krishna has not yet revealed here, or in this verse he is not revealing. Later on, Krishna explains similarly in the 12th chapter, Tani sarvani samya, Tani sarvani karmani. I'll read that verse. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha. Mai sanyasya. Why he is here, he disclosed about kama sankalpa varjitaha. In sarve samarambaha, in all attempts. Here also Krishna is talking about ye tu sarvani karmani. In all kinds of activity. Sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. Having given up the results, the activities to me. Matparaha, fully devoted to me. Ananyena iva yogena mam dhyayanta upasata. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagara. Bhavami nachirat partha. Maya veshita chetasam. His chetasam maya veshita. He is full of maya veshita. He has become completely overpowered by me. He is captured by me. I have become everything for him. Maya veshita. Maya aveshita chetasa. Maya aveshita chetasa. That's the meaning of the word Maya veshita chetasa. Krishna aveshita chetasa. You see? That's why if among all the devotees, if you examine, you see the gopis of Vrindavan after Krishna had left them. What were they? They were Krishna aveshita chetasa. Day and night they could not leave. Remember, they could not forget Krishna. They lost eating, sleeping, what they should do in their life. Everything they forgot. Because of Krishna aveshita. That is why it's not a small thing, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conclusion. It is of great deal of deliberation. That among all the devotees of Krishna described in the Vedic literature, the gopis are the foremost. Because in all these things, what matparaha, the gopis displayed that. Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. They were doing everything. They were dressing up nicely for Krishna. So that when Krishna glances at us, when he comes in the evening, he brings all the cows and then at that time he'll be glancing at us. When he glances at us, he must be pleased. This is not a small thing. Do everything to please Krishna. So the gopis are the foremost in this. So, etu sarvani karmani. So like this, in the kama sankalpa varjitaha, desire for enjoyment should not, one's own enjoyment should not be there. What else should be there? It is for pleasing Krishna. Everything for Krishna. Gradually Krishna brings up that. Because this Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha, even Mayavadis will like this one. Because Krishna is not yet there. Even they will appreciate that. So Krishna gradually brings up these ideas. And we see demonstration of all of that in these great activities of Priyavrata. He was in the middle of the as a king, he had a beautiful wife, she could do all these things, increase his energy for him and all of... Was he lost? No. Mahamanaha. He was an evolved soul. His mind was fully controlled. And he was always, Prabhupada is clarifying that he always knew his position as a spirit. Actually, however, he was fully conscious of his position as a spirit soul. Although he seemingly behaved like an acquiescent karmi husband, ready to do what the wife wants. He appeared like that, but he was situated in Atma Samstham. He was fully in self-realization. So even though one is in a self-realized position, he can be a king, he can have a beautiful wife, the wife could be very caring, he could be responding to all those things, but at the same time remain complete spiritualist. That is the potency of Krishna consciousness that the Bhagavatam is presenting. So it's a very great consciousness. Great personalities have displayed this, have demonstrated this. And that great consciousness was, what was it that specially highlighted, captured and highlighted in the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So this is the beauty of the great personalities of Srimad Bhagavatam, like Priyavrata Maharaj. And we can see that by the help of Prabhupada's purports. It throws light on these facets of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.